everybody, it's me Alexa, and today I'll be reviewing the recent Telugu film Bheeshma. So this film is directed by Venki Kurumula and it stars Nathan and Rashmika Mandana. So as you guys may have seen about like 2 weeks ago now, I reacted to the Bheeshma trailer. If you haven't seen it, it is blocked. So very sorry, but you cannot watch it. We've sent a dispute to them, but we'll see if they do it. But yeah, I'll talk more about what I did say in my trailer reaction as I talk about my review on the actual film. The overall story of the film, it is about a company called Bheeshma Organics, which is trying to promote healthy organic farming all around, because it is both better for people to consume as well as for the land itself. So that's like the main thing, is talking about organic farming. And then there's this evil villain company run by Jishu Sengupta's character Raghavan, where they're trying to promote this instant chemicals like pesticides you can put on it that'll make your crops grow faster, but it's chemicals, so they're like, we don't want to do that, we want to do organic farming. So it's kind of like a fight between the two different ones, because his will make your crops grow faster, but the organic farming will be better for the earth. So there's a little drama there. And then of course then comes in our lead character, who is also named Bheeshma. He just happens to have the same name as the starter of the company, Bheeshma Organics, and he is played by Nathan. A whole bunch of stuff happens. I don't want to give away any spoilers because there's some twists in the middle, but a whole bunch of adventures ensue. Bheeshma is a nice hero, and him and Rashmika have a nice little romance, and yeah. Alright, so my overall opinion on the film. Honestly, I absolutely loved it. I was laughing so much during this movie. Genuinely, that is the most I've laughed in a really long time, especially during a movie. Like, I was laughing at least 70% of the whole movie, like at least. Because it was just almost every single moment was making me crack up. It was so, the timing for it was just spectacular. Nathan did a great job at his character, because that was one thing I did talk about in my trailer review, was that his character came across as a little bit kind of pervy and creepy, but in this, he was not that at all. I mean, he was a little desperate, more so is the word I'd use, but he definitely wasn't like pervy or creepy in any way, shape, or form. And so I don't know why they made him portray like that in the trailer, but the character was not like that, and Nathan did a spectacular job. His comedic timing and how he delivers those lines that were written so well, it was truly hilarious. And I really loved him and Rashmika's romance and how they played together, and their chemistry on screen I thought was so good. I was really rooting for their romance all throughout it, and I think both of them played their characters so well, and they were such well-written characters that it was just thoroughly enjoyable, and I genuinely had such a good time in this movie. Like, I was laughing so much. I'm debating going and watching it again because I laughed just so much, but I'll probably just wait till it like comes out on streaming services or something. But it was genuinely so much fun, and I really enjoyed that. If you haven't seen it yet, I really do recommend it, because I was laughing. I mean, as I said before, I was laughing almost continuously, and I'm sure that there were even some jokes that went over my head, because they're like cultural jokes, you know, that are kind of dependent on knowing the culture better or like having experienced certain things. So there were some jokes that I'm sure I didn't even get, and I was still laughing about 70% of the time. So I would definitely recommend this movie. And also, I really enjoyed Jishu. He did a great job as his villain. I thought that he absolutely nailed the part. I mean, you really wanted him to lose, which is always good in a villain. He did a good job of, he like made you kind of think that he was trying to do a right thing, and then it was just really well done. I'm trying not to give away spoilers, so I'm like cutting myself off before saying anything that might be a spoiler. I also really loved Vanilla Kishore's in it. His character was hilarious, and he also had a really nice back and forth with Raghu Babu, who he was played one of the employees at Bheeshma Organic. They had a really nice back and forth surrounding Bheeshma, Nathan's character, and it was just really funny and comedic, and there's a lot of good lines from them. Vanilla Kishore has great comedic timing. I've seen him in a few movies now. He kind of just pops up all over the place, and I really enjoy watching him. I think that he has a great screen presence and just always does really well in every part I've seen him in. So I'm always excited whenever I see him come on screen. Let's talk about this music. So the music for the film was done by Swara Sagar Mahati. He did an amazing job. The theme music for both the hero and the villain were great. Like every time they came on, like you knew it was them because of that theme music, and it really like represented their character well. I really enjoyed the villains. It kind of reminded me a bit of the score from Ratsasan, which was just really beautiful, and it has like these nice like piano moments, and it's like very sinister. So it really like fit the character well and made you like feel he was the villain by utilizing that impactful score in the background every time he came on, and like whenever he had a bigger moment and such. It was really well done. And then of course the big bombastic hero theme that played with Nathan, I mean, it added to it too. They were both a little like over the top, but it fit the comedic tone of the film really well as like the drama of it and such. I also really enjoyed the songs in it. Singles Anthem I did hear before I went to watch it, and I did enjoy it. It has a really nice beat to it, but watching it in the movie was even better. I now honestly really like the song, and I've listened to it quite a few times since then. I also enjoyed the What a Beauty song, but I wasn't personally just a huge fan of the singing voice in it. I think it's very good, and he did a great job with it. It's just not my like favorite thing to listen to. The other two songs in the film were also quite good. There's Sarasari and Super Cute. They were really fun. Super Cute, I really enjoyed the dancing in it. All of them, I really enjoyed the dancing. The choreography was really creative and innovative, and they did a lot of really cool things, and it showed off both their abilities. Nithin's dance moves were a bit simpler, both of them were, but you could really tell that Nithin is a very talented dancer by the way that he owned those simpler dance moves, because as you can see with like really talented dancers like Alu Arjun, let's say in Alavik Ramalu, none of those dance moves were particularly hard. You know, there weren't anything that were extra strenuous or anything for him, but he owned those simple steps so well and like did them so effortlessly that you can just see the amount of skill and talent that he has. And Nithin, I think he's not quite Alu Arjun levels, of course, but it's rude to compare anyone to Alu Arjun because he's just whole other level. But he did a really great job of having that same sort of presence about him as he danced, because even though he was doing those simpler steps, you could see the amount of skill and talent that went into each of them. Body control throughout it was really spectacular, and you could see that he could definitely do a lot more. And I'm kind of disappointed they didn't show him doing a bit more, but I think the style of dance suited the songs and the story really well, so I understand why they maybe kept it a bit simpler. Overall, there were some really elaborate kind of bigger dance moves that I really enjoyed. There's one where like he's standing and people are like supporting his legs, but he's like leaning back and like doing body rolls, and I'm like, I can barely stand up straight some days. This is crazy. But yeah, I thought it was really well done, and Rashmika had a really cool move, like holding up her body. She must have some crazy upper arm strength. So overall, I mean, the music, both as the background music and the actual songs themselves, I thought were really well executed and fit the movie really well and added to the plot. Especially, most of the songs were revolving around Nithin and Rashmika's characters' romance, and I think they did a good job of building up that romance and each of their characteristics and how they end up together. And it's just really well built up, and I think that they did a really good job utilizing the music and songs to add to their plot and add to their tone in a very positive way. So another thing I have to say about the trailer was there's one, if you did see my trailer reaction, you know that there was this cool shot kind of panning sideways where he was punching and beating people up, and the very first punch, his fist was about a foot away from the guy who was punching. And you could fully see it in the shot, and I commented on that and like kind of zoomed in on it to show y'all. But that was actually cut from the film. I did not notice it, I did not see it, and I was looking for it whenever he was wearing the outfit from it. I was like, all right, is this the moment? But he actually, I think they cut that from the movie. Honestly, the whole trailer did not do this movie favors. Like, it was not a very good trailer, because it made me think that Nithin's character was kind of a creep, and it made me think that the fighting wasn't going to be well choreographed, and it was extremely well choreographed and well shot, and so it just wasn't the best trailer. I don't think that it did the movie justice, because I really enjoyed that movie, and that's one of my least favorite trailers I've watched in a while. Like, I kind of went into this movie, I was just kind of looking for something to do, and I walked in and I was like, all right, they'll see how it is. I heard some good reviews on it. I'm like, I'm sure it'll be fun and nice. But I was so surprised by how much I thoroughly enjoyed that film. And I left with a smile on my face talking about it And it was just really fun. I really enjoyed watching it, and I am very happy that I went to go see it, despite the trailer not being that great. Now I want to talk a bit about this director. His name, again, Venki Kuramula. So this is only his second film, which in itself is very impressive because he has a very strong command over comedic timing, both with his shots, his shot movements, his writing, like how the lines are delivered, and the overall editing of it, like pacing wise. He has a very strong command over comedy, and that is one of the harder ones to do right, because comedy, you have to get it just right or else it's not funny. And he just absolutely does a spectacular job. The movie does lack a little bit of refinement in it. You can tell it's like still kind of an earlier film for someone at certain moments if you're really paying attention. But, like, you know, he doesn't have the refinement of, like, a veteran director like Rajamouli or Trivikram. It's not all, like, perfectly placed and everything, but he has a really strong command over comedy, and I'm really excited to see what he continues to do as he continues to grow and refine those skills that he already has. He clearly has some very natural talent with this. I mean, just with especially comedy. And honestly, all of it was done really well. Even the fight choreography and the more serious moments I thought were tied in very well, and it all added together. My biggest complaint would probably be that at the end it felt like they were trying a bit too hard to kind of tie it all together, but even that, it's not really a complaint. It's just like alright, that was a little bit forced, but it honestly still makes sense, so I'm not mad about it. Because that was one thing I was also really impressed with, because that's a issue I've been seeing a lot, is continuity in films. And I've been seeing it from movies I've been watching from all over, where they'll have, like, or books I've been reading actually too, where they'll ignore continuity for the sake of a good idea, and that just frustrates me. So the fact that they made sure to stay true to the story the whole time and never just did something even because they thought it was cool, even though it wouldn't make sense with the story. Anything they did that was cool also made sense with the story. Crazy concept, I know, but I've been seeing it a lot lately in films, so it's really nice. And in books, I've been reading a lot of books recently, and so it was really nice to kind of see something that was it was just such a well put together story, and everything came together and made sense and worked out. Because there's one point in it, I won't say what happens, but there's like the intermission plot twist, you know, they always have like a minor plot twist there, and whenever it happened, I was like pretty disappointed, because I thought that it was gonna make the story go in one direction, based on how it played out, and I was like, why are you doing this? Like, I had a great first half. I'm like, please do not do what I think you're about to do. And then they didn't. They utilized that plot twist so well in the second half, and it added to it, and it was so much better than I thought it was going to be, and I just really enjoyed it. So I do have to say, huge testament to Venki Kuramula. I think that he did a spectacular job. I also want to talk a little bit about so I have to say quickly, I just want to say cinematographer Sai Suriram and the editor was Navin Nuli, because they both, working with Venki, did a spectacular job with that comedy, as I said earlier. I can remember there was one moving shot where they they were looking for someone, and they like move and then found them, and it was just so well timed and like perfectly placed, the framing of the shot and everything, that it was hilarious. Like, it made me laugh, and it was because of that camera movement and how perfectly timed it was. And there are many times where they cut between things, and it was also like, because of the pacing that they used in that cutting, made it even more funny than it was. And so, I mean, just a huge shout out to both of them, Sai and Naveen. I think that they both, working with Venki, the director, created this hilarious film that I really enjoyed. Though I remember one thing I didn't like about it. There were a lot of harsh cuts, mostly after the songs. Like, they would still be mid-note, and instead of like waiting for the note to fade out or like making the note fade out, they would just do a hard cut to a different scene with completely different lighting and like no sound hardly at all, and it was like a little abrupt. And they did it a few times even for just like regular scenes where like they'd have like the hero's theme playing in the background, then it would cut off, and then all of a sudden, so it was like a little jarring a few times there, and that's where I think it kind of lost that refinement that I was talking about earlier. But it still was good. It was just those slight moments I was like, whoa, and it kind of took me out of the film a little, because I had to process that cut and say, okay, where are we now? Like, instead of it just kind of flowing together and allowing you to experience the change as transitions should. I mean, if that's my biggest complaint with the film, they did a pretty good job, especially with a comedy. So my overall thoughts on the film, I mean, I already said them at the beginning, but I'm gonna give kind of synopsis of everything I've said here. The overarching story, I thought it was executed really well. Venki did a great job with both the writing and directing to make this really funny story come together in a really beautiful way. And then the acting also lend a hand in that. The character that Nathan plays is one that could have come across as pervy and creepy, even with the way that it's written, because it is written quite well. But if it was delivered wrong or just played by someone else, it could have come across as a bit creepier. And Nathan made it so it never felt creepy at all. It like seemed sweet and kind of like innocent, and it was just really well done, because that definitely was a bit of a trickier character, and if done poorly could have ruined the entire movie. But he absolutely nailed it and only amplified the movie. So I think great job casting with that, and then great job with his acting following up, as well as everyone else in the film. Everyone did a great job doing their part to add up to this really beautiful, just like a hilarious film. I cannot say how much I laughed during it enough, because truly, I mean, if you're writing a comedy and I'm laughing for almost the entire movie, you've done your job exceptionally well, and that's just a huge, like, hats off to everyone involved making this film, because genuinely that's the most I've laughed in such a long time, and especially, I cannot think of the last movie that I laughed that hard at, and so it's just really well done. What else did I talk about? The music, yeah. So I loved the music. It added to it. The only thing I'd say was that it was a bit jarring sometimes with those transitions after some music, but even that's, you know, it's like a minor complaint, something that's easily kind of worked with and made better as you like realize those mistakes. And so still great job. And then yeah, just great job to everyone involved, honestly. That's my overall opinion of it. I mean, I laughed, and it's a comedy, so there's nothing more to be said about it than that. If you can make me laugh for 70% of how long is this movie? It's like 150 minutes, that's 2.5 hours. So if I'm laughing for about 70%, that's me laughing for like over 2 hours. That's incredible. That is such an amazing feat to be able to create, and there was hardly anyone in the theater, sadly, because it is the second week and it was a Thursday. But there was one couple in the back who they were also cracking up the whole time. I didn't hear them the whole time because it was a bit too loud, the theater. That's a common issue I've been having with Indian films, where they just have, like, in these cinemas, they're playing it really loudly. And yeah, I think it's just a great film. Alright, so that is all I have to say about the Bheeshma movie. Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. If you've seen it, let me know what you guys thought about it. But please, if you do write any spoilers, make sure to give a spoiler warning so that we don't ruin it for anyone, because it is still fairly new and a lot of people probably haven't seen it yet. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye!